Yeah, with those two seasons in 2012 and 2013, we were so close the year before we won our Super Bowl. And so um we just had some missing pieces, and we filled those in the offseason um with Anquan Bolden coming in, and um young guys stepping up with Paul Kruger and Jamil McClain and guys like that were young guys before them, had to step up for the year when we won our Super Bowl. So I think guys stepping up and bringing in some pieces definitely helped us win that Super Bowl when we did. And so yeah, I think that's some of the biggest reasons. We were always kind of a close team. Every most of the years I was there, we were a close team, so camaraderie wasn't an issue. I think it was just bringing in the right pieces. Yeah, when you get guys that come on and sign on, and you kind of get you you don't get that feeling early. I don't think. I think you just got to see how we gel together. Um, yeah, like I said before, Anquan Bolden, when he came in, seeing the way how professional he was with warming up, training, um, studying, all that, you're like, okay, this guy can be a great piece for our young receivers, as for Torrey Smith and Lee Evans, and the young tight ends with Dennis Pitta. So it was great to have him come in and see him like bring those guys along and help them out. And defensively, it's hard to fail when you have great leaders like Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and stuff like that. Yeah, playing with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, coming in as a young guy in 2006, it's hard to fail, um, because those leaders like those guys won't let you fail. And it wasn't just only them. You had a lot of great players with Trevor Price, Kelly Gregg, um, Bart Scott, Chris McAllister, guys like that are just the whole team led. And obviously you had your leaders in Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, but um, it, just watching the way they conducted themselves as professionals on the field, where they worked hard, practiced really hard, made practice harder than the game, and then you see them in the background and in the off or meeting rooms and all that. They're studying their butt off. They're watching a lot of film outside of the facilities. Their recovery is just amazing. They have so much work that they're doing on their bodies, and then they're working out really hard when they need to. And so it was hard to not follow those guys. And you ask your questions to those guys, and they do, and they tell you what they can and what they've done and what's to help them be successful. And so it's been such a blessing to me to be able to play with those guys and be a defensive player, because it was hard. It was hard to fail with being around those guys. My first training camp was definitely eye opening when I first came to Baltimore. I remember um, I used to pride myself in being such a good student, and I messed up in the play, and so I stunted the wrong way, and accidentally hit Adelius Thomas. And I'm like, dang, my bad. So I kind of like just stood there because I was like frustrated. And he goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Run to the ball." And I'm like, I messed up. He's like, "It doesn't matter. Run to the ball." And I'm like, holy smokes. Like, I'm here thinking about myself. And then so it's like, I mean, we're just organized chaos, because you're just, even if you made a mistake, it didn't matter. Just run full speed to the ball. And a lot of times good things happen. You cause a fumble, you recover a fumble, or you get, you break the ball for the play. So it's just such the way we practice was, we definitely made it harder than the game. And then I remember our coach saying, we don't condition. And I was like, yes, for big guys, like that's the best thing. Like, you hearing like no conditioning is awesome. And then all of a sudden your leaders in the middle of like offensive team period are running gassers. And I'm like, what are these guys doing? It's like, they're running gassers. I'm like, but we don't have to run. The coach said, and he was like, no, that's what your leaders are doing. So you got to go do it. I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I'm running gassers with the team, and in between offensive periods. And um, it's just so great to be around those guys and be around leaders like that. So it just made me such a great player. The great thing about John Harbaugh as a coach is he came in first as a special teams coordinator. And so it was very new to him. I think a lot of the stuff he was getting into, he learned from Andy Reid, guys like that. So it's just, he came in kind of hard and strong. And then I think the thing about John is what he's great at is adapting to the team, adapting to what he needs or what needs to be done. He's a great coach that understands like the players and tries to get great understanding with them. You see the relationship he has with Lamar. It's he's such a great coach that I think he tries to just put himself in the player's shoes where he can be more helpful to them. So it's great that he's able to adapt to a lot of players. Yeah, that getting inducted to the Ravens Ring of Honor was such a emotional moment for me. Both my parents have passed away, and so to see my last name in the stadium was such a honor and privilege just to have my name in the stadium and have something there for people to see. My dad's last name, my culture, me and my family. So it definitely was bittersweet because my parents couldn't be there, but definitely a proud moment that I can share with my kids, that they know that, dad was pretty cool. Crab cakes. Crab cakes in football. That's what Maryland does. No, the food in Maryland is amazing. I've become, I don't know, but I fell in love with the seafood there in Maryland. But that about being a Raven, though, it's just when I was young, before I got drafted, I see Baltimore. It was just physical defense football, and for me to get drafted there was just such a dream come true because I'm a defender and I love to be physical, and so that's just the way I played and just uh, try to do that as much as I can. It's weird because I felt Tongan in America because both my parents are from Tonga. So we kind of were raised um, the way my parents were raised in Tonga. So I feel a lot of pride and a lot of love and a lot of things I do, and very family oriented in everything I do. So that football for Polynesians is so big in our culture because it's such a big team sport. It's one of the biggest teams you can have, and so if you have enough polys on there, they'll fight for you, scratch, claw, everything for you, and no matter what. And so being Polynesian, I think definitely helped me be a better teammate, have a lot of pride in my culture, but then in the team I'm playing for, and help me lead too. So it's a lot of things I learned from my parents that I lived on in life and football. With kids coming out, like I'll get family or friends of family that would reach out if I could talk to kids or help train, and I love it just because for me I was never able to reach out to anybody, and kind of just went along with whoever was available. But to be able to reach out to some kids and help them all along, it's great to be able to get back and continue to try to make this game better. I think the Ravens this year have a good chance to go all the way. And the difference between this year and like the last couple years is defensive ball. I think we kind of got away from that the past years, and this year it totally feels like the Baltimore of old, where defense dominates and helps win games. And offense does enough just to win the game. And it kind of reminded me of the years I was playing. So we did it that way with the young Joe Flacco winning the Super Bowl. And we just, as long as the offense didn't turn over the ball, we could just control the other side and not let them score or score little points. And it's such a great feeling right now. So and especially now that we coming off a bye, and now we're 2 games ahead of our next guys, and with Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and so it's just a good spot for us right now. Yeah, I mean, you kind of saw it against the Chargers. Losing, you can never replace a guy like Mark Andrews. It's just he's so big, so dominant, can run, can block, a lot of things. But the backups have done pretty good. Likely has done some good things. Catching is one of his specialties, and so I think to me, it seemed like it opened up the receivers to dominate more, losing his, protection blanket with Mark Andrews. And so now he's having to rely on his receivers more. And I guess the Chargers, I've never seen Lamar throw that much or that well to his receivers. And so it's great to see that open up in the playbook. And, just it's just going to be awesome to see them continue to work and move on, not move on and work without Mark until he can come back. It's hard to take Lamar off that list of MVP prospects because he's so electrifying. He can light you up. He can run the ball. And then he can just do so many things. As long as he can continue to do those things, obviously stay injury free, and then not turning over the balls, having turnovers, then he can definitely win it because he's so great at making plays, creating plays, and helping the team win. Always up front. O-line, D-line. It starts up front. I mean, without the big guys, you can't roll. Like without your D linemen creating holes for your linebackers, without their O-line creating holes for your running backs, it's going to be tough. And so our D line has definitely been playing great. Rowe has been playing amazing linebacker, and with Patrick Queen. So it's like it's going to be tough to play the Baltimore Ravens in December and succeed, because the way we're playing defense right now is very, very exciting, especially up front. Yeah, he to me is like top 2 linebacker. Such a versatile player. Gets to the ball. He gets to the line of scrimmage to stop the run up the middle. Can run sideline to sideline, and he's great at getting back into the coverages. And so I love watching Roquan Smith and the things he's doing, and I love his leadership, the way he's kind of brought Queen up, all the backups up, and it's just great to see dominant linebacker play again in Baltimore. It's tough. The good thing about it is we play so like the division leaders. You got Kansas City, you got the Dolphins, you have the Jaguars. So like we play the Jaguars and the Dolphins, so we kind of see where we line up. But like to me, the Chiefs it's just hard to get with a healthy Mahomes. It's hard to count them out because he's such a great player. So I'd say the Chiefs, we'll kind of see where we line up with the Jaguars. They quarterback got hurt, but Jaguars and the Dolphins, we'll see how we do against those guys. But Chiefs always worry me. Yeah, it sucks because, well, Detroit and Philly are my NFC teams because I played for them. So, I would love to say Philly, but the way they dominated them the other night, it's hard to like have the Niners not be the top team there in the NFC. But Detroit can sneak up and bite you in the butt. So it can Detroit, in my eyes, are a pretty good NFC team. They just kind of figure ways to lose those games that they've lost. But yeah, to me, I think that right now the Niners are a top team in NFC. Yeah, I think Miami is a contender. They're playing great offense, and it's just if they can figure out defensively to stop teams, then they're definitely going to be contenders. Dallas is they're contenders. I think the way they play both sides of the ball, they're pretty dominant right now. I hate to say that because I don't like Dallas at all, but they're playing really good football. And I think it's going to be a tough game for Philly to beat them in Dallas coming up this month. And yeah, they're contenders in my eyes. I think they might be pretenders now because quarterback play. I don't know how much they're going to win without Trevor Lawrence. So I think that's going to be a big loss for them. And so right now they're pretenders, and to me, contenders. I think Detroit, if they could just, they seem to get ahead and then they kind of lose at the end quite a bit. But if they can just continue to play great football constantly, then they'll definitely be in the contender. What's kind of shocked me is the Denver Broncos, how they kind of turned on and turned their season around. I think they're even right now, but they are. I could see them like get on a hot streak and just like scare some teams if they get into the playoffs. Packers, yes. The way Jordan Love is playing now is crazy. I saw the last game. I think it was against Minnesota. And just the way he was passing the ball, I was like, holy smokes. But it seems like his relationship with his receivers are getting more, are just getting stronger. And so he's just slinging it out there, and those guys are catching it. And the Packers are, and I hate the Packers too. Golly. It's just, they're playing good ball, good quarterback playing. So it's hard to go against them right now too, because they're kind of getting hot. Ooh, no, Houston. I think Houston could be a surprise team, just because I think CJ is becoming a leader of that team and more comfortable. Guys are protecting him or following him, and yeah, and I really like their coach. We came out together. We got drafted together. So it's just, I root for him because we're the same class. And it pains for me to say this because I'm a Raven, but like TJ Watt is just amazing. Last year's defense player of the year. He's just so awesome. Like he just does so many good things. For their team to like be losing and for him to continue to make impactful plays, and the way he's continue to make sacks and tackles for loss is just amazing. So I think he's such a great player, and he has another chance to be the MVP, defensive MVP in the NFL. If I could take a quarterback in the next 5 years, I would take CJ Stroud. Just the way he's become such a leader and the guys rallying around him. And I could just see him only getting better and better every year, every single year. I feel like the Texans can be a team to be contenders year in and year out for a while because the quarterback play and CJ Stroud. And I would love to be a part of that if I was still playing, to be able to watch that team grow and rally around CJ Stroud. Yeah, Texans will probably be that team for me that climb in the ranks. They're kind of hitting a little run, and I'm glad Baltimore played him when he was like second game of the season, because he didn't look that comfortable. But to see him now, because I went to the Houston Texans game against Baltimore, and actually it was the first game of the season. Just the difference, how much he's grown from first game to now, so amazing. And so yeah, hats off to D'Amico Ryans and the coaching staff because they've done a lot of good things to coach them up. Ravens, they're going to cover it too. Yeah, Ravens all the way. Baltimore. I'll say if that I'm really excited about Baltimore this year. Like I said before, just defense has been great and been loving the way they've been playing. So I can see them going to the AFC Championship and winning it. I want to say Detroit because I want to see a Baltimore Ravens Detroit Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah, I'll say Detroit. I'll say Baltimore because they're on a streak right now and they're playing such dominant defense and defense win championships. So we'll go Baltimore.